Hello and welcome to yet another edition of 2020 Tokyo in 120 right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. My name is Olawale Ageni and I'll be your host for today. It is a full house today. As you can see, I have Alpha in the house. Alpha, how you doing?
Fine.
Hmm.
Nice to be here again.
Of course, Jonathan makes a return to the show. Jonathan, how you doing?
I'm good. Nice to be here.
Okay, Achuza also.
My pleasure to be here.
Of course, we have Vivian all the way from Sheffield, joining us on today's program. Vivian, good evening. How is Sheffield today?
Good evening. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Sheffield is good.
Of course, Dapo join us all the way from Lagos. Dapo, how is Lagos today?
Lagos is calm and cool. We are good. Yeah.
Of course, Abuja also is calm and good. Yesterday, the news actually broke that 10 Nigerian athletes were disqualified from the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games due to the fact that we refused to actually know the athlete for them to do the out of competition test. But at the end of the day, they didn't actually do it, and we actually did. They were actually disqualified from the games. These actually bring sparked up reaction from Nigerians, from sport fraternity, from everywhere, Nigerians all over the world, blasting the sport ministry, blasting the AFL, blasting those who are supposed, to actually do their job, and which they didn't actually do their job. But Jonathan, let's just start with you. Looking at the embarrassment to the country, let's get your reaction about the 10 disqualified athletes.
I think it's a disaster. Somebody should be in jail right now. Your head should be rolling. Can't honestly. The less I talk about this, the better for my insanity.
Of course, it's just so sad. The news just so sad.
That's sad. I mean, we spoke at length about it yesterday. And, it's still an ongoing issue. We thought by today everything would have been calm, but, there's a hailstorm everywhere. Everybody's angry. Everybody is, highly pissed with the situation. And, it's still, a trending topic of discussion. So, once again, we are still here lamenting the track and field event will start tomorrow, and 10 of our athletes unfortunately will not be participating for no fault of theirs. Just some couple of administrative glitches here and there, and these artists put a lot of time and years to prepare for these Olympics, waiting for tomorrow, and just 2 days to the event you sleep and wake up that you are not eligible to participate, just because of some infighting in the AFN, in the sports ministry, and we are losing 10 of our athletes. Just 12 who are eligible to participate tomorrow. So it's really a sad one. And I really feel for, those athletes. I really want to, I imagine what will be going through their minds right now out there in Tokyo, after spending so much, putting time and effort, mental energy, concentrating, training, and all that, then only that to know that tomorrow, while your, teammates are out there trying to do the nation proud, you'll not be part of it. So it might just mean you went to Tokyo to be a spectator. If this was going to be issue a long time ago, then it would have been better for them not even to have made the trip to Tokyo. So it's a really sad one.
Before I come to Chubu, so I just want to read out the name of the athlete that was actually disqualified. Knowledge Omwavu, Ruth Osoro, Favor Ophili, Rosemary Chukuma, Gloria Patrick, Yinka Jayi, Tima, God bless, Chidi Okeze, Chioma, Oyekere, and Anita Chikiwoke. If I didn't get that correctly, please Don't crucify me at this point in time. But looking at the list of the athlete tributes, or what do you make up of this story? We know we actually discussed it at length yesterday, but at this point, it is still a burning issue that Nigerians are not really happy about.
Well, this issue is going to be, the talking point of um, the tournaments for us for a while, because we're always going to reflect on this and still get, befuddled by how such a mega embarrassment play out right in front of us. So um, in some way, it's good to sustain the tempo of this discussion so that we can really get to the root of why this whole mess happened. But beyond getting to the root of it, perhaps this might start the healing process in the athletics federation, and perhaps in the entire sports
Ministry.
sector. But it's really sad that this is where we are. This is just where we are, and I can only imagine the impact it would have on the 12 athletes that will be competing. Already we are seeing Blessing Okokbari blowing hot on this matter. You know, her mental state is something one would have to really look out for. Nay, for other, athletes. So it's really a terrible, terrible, situation. Like Mr. Jonathan said, somebody has to take the fall or take the heat for this. We shouldn't just allow this slide, and go on as if nothing has happened yet.
Of course, after the incident, Blessing or Kagbari actually, went on social media to express grievances as towards it. She was very angry with it. I want to quote her right now. They were busy fighting over power, exercising their pride over Puma contracts slash kit, forgetting the major responsibility, the athlete. It is sad that this cycle keep repeating itself, and some people will come out to say I am arrogant for speaking my truth. It is my career. Vivian, before we go to Dapo, what do you make up of the reaction of Blessing or Kabari over the 10 disqualified athlete?
She's right. We can clearly see how it is slightly impacting her mental health, and I just pray that it doesn't affect her performance tomorrow. And hopefully, they'll be able to just do their best and just try and not focus on all these chaos, because it's a really, really disastrous day for Nigerian sport.
Hmm. Dapo, let's get your reaction on what Blessing Kabari she's actually saying on the matter.
Is a terrible situation. It's just unforgivable. I don't know how to describe it, but the biggest embarrassment Nigeria has ever received in sports is happening right there in Tokyo now. These athletes they are the receiving end now. They are the receiving end. And that time when the issues were up, a lot of us kept shouting, kept warning them. You people, the World Athletics Federation gave some rulings. It was kept aside. They were not adhered to just because of some dirty politics, just because of the fact that those in charge they are bent on favoring some personalities, and this is where we are today. It is a very sad one. The athletes now, some of them, half of the 10, they were actually disqualified. They just qualified first time for the Olympics, and they may not be able to qualify for the Olympics again in the rest of their careers. So what do we take of that? This is wickedness. This is sheer wickedness. It is not just fair. To qualify for the Olympics, it takes a big deal. Takes a big deal. Now these athletes qualified in their sweats, everything, everything they could actually do to qualify. They ran the race of their lives to qualify. Now they have qualified. They are in the Olympic venue. They cannot compete. This is just terrible. I don't know what else to say, and we have to work on the psychology of the athletes. Already, some of them are already saying that they are breaking down mentally. We are still in Tokyo. And they are still hoping that something will be done, but nothing can be done any longer. Nothing now. You can only do something 10 months back. Nothing can be done now. They are warning. They are warning of the issue of mental breakdown. They said they don't just know where they are at the moment. Some of them said they don't know where they are at the moment. They don't even know they are in Tokyo. They are still, some came out to say he doesn't know, she doesn't know. I'm talking about Ruth Sorrow. She doesn't know if she is already in Tokyo or not. That means something terrible is happening already. And these people are still, they are still they battled all through the months, all through from in the last 3.5 years. The same battle without looking at the athletes. I want to be in charge. I should be in charge. I'm the favorite of the minister. He will put me there. And the man did all this. And we are still in one segment of the crisis, because the International Olympic Committee does not condone walkovers. Those lanes will be empty, and it is not done. It's not condoned in international sport, especially the Olympics. We are going to pay dearly. Nigeria will pay dearly for this, just because of some carelessness of some personalities who don't love sport, but they are just there masquerading as if they love the sport. So it's really unfortunate.
It is really, really unfortunate at this point in time. The destiny has been quashed. I hope of these athletes, getting to qualify for the Paris game is not certain. So at this point in time, but I feel the government at this point in time need to actually recall the sport minister head should start rolling at this point in time. Even the NOC president talking about Bugome, he has not been doing what he's supposed to do. It's just so sad that at this point in time we have not heard anything from the presidency and from the National Assembly. Alpha, don't you think the National Assembly and the presidency should actually do something at this point in time?
Of course, by now there should have been some, reaction, official reaction from the government, either from the presidency or the National Assembly. I mean, at the National Assembly, we have a committee on sports, both in both houses of the house, and these committees all have chairmen. Are they not following what's happening in Tokyo? By now, the minister should have been called to order. In fact, the minister himself by now should have handed in his resignation,
Exactly.
because all this happened under his watch. So, and what will be the excuse that he'll be given for this kind of, shall I call it an oversight, which is clearly not. You were clearly aware of these regulations. You know that 8 months to, or a competition of this magnitude, you do this testing. They said at least 3 weeks interval, and nothing was done. And now look at the situation we found ourselves. So I really think it's high time that either the government or one of the committees in the National Assembly on Sports make a statement on this. We need an official reaction from this. I mean, even from the minister himself, what has he said so far? Nothing, nothing inspiring. What are the reasons he's giving for this a massive failure?
The minister has not actually not come out to say anything. It's just the permanent sec. At this point in time, I feel they just want to play to the gallery. They came out and said the athletes should actually remain focused. That the rest of the 12 athletes who will be competing in the athletics event, that they should remain focused. That they should put the disappointing, what happened behind them. That the EFN has appointed somebody in charge of doping and all that, and that. For me, they were just blabbing in their press release, talking about the athletes should remain focused. But Dapo, I really want to get your reaction on the press release coming from the sports ministry at this point in time. Hello, Dapo. Okay, Vivian, let's get your reaction on the press release coming from the Ministry of Sport.
Yeah, saying that they should leave everything behind them is absolutely disgraceful and shameful. It's not something that they should be saying. They should stand up for what they've done, for the error that they've done, and actually do better than this. Like you said, they should resign, but this is not gonna happen anytime soon, and it's really shameful and disgraceful.
Hmm. It's really shameful and disgraceful at this point in time. Alpha, you want to comment on this?
No, I mean that's the statement was unnecessary. You know, if you're releasing this kind of statement after such a scandal, it should have been some sort of explanation for why this happened. But this kind of statement, which artists to remain focused, if they were to remain, if they were focused,
Mm.
or Calgary wouldn't have released that statement. So
Mm.
it means yes, she's participating, but she's clearly not happy about the situation. I mean, these are her colleagues. So imagine if she was involved in this kind of thing. So this kind of statement shouldn't even be coming from the ministry at this point in time.
Yeah.
We should have been getting a concrete explanation of what actually happened. If you said you appointed someone in charge of this thing, has the person been called to question? What are the reasons the person given for why he allowed this kind of thing to happen? So it's not to say enough to say someone was appointed to be in charge of doping and all that. If someone was in charge, then I mean the head should start rolling from that person who was in charge. What happened? Why didn't the procedures clearly followed, till the end of it, to the point that we'll have athletes being completely disqualified? It would have been better if these athletes were in Tokyo, they actually competed and fell short. Exactly.
Yeah, I lost.
Then preparing for an event and you go there and you don't even have a chance of even participating at all. Talk less of even having a chance of saying you're even winning the medal or anything like that. So it's even worse. They shouldn't have even been there in the first place. So it's even better to compete and fail than not even to compete at all while you are there in Tokyo.
It is better to compete
Yeah.
and not win medals than to be disqualified. I don't even get a chance to compete. But for now, we'll go for a short commercial break. And when we return, we are still talking about the 10 disqualified athletes and other stories in the package for today. But don't go nowhere. But the big question is, can the Tigers get to defeat France in their second group game match tomorrow in Tokyo? Head straight to our Facebook page and our YouTube page and send your comment, and be rest assured that we are going to read them as they come. But for now, we'll go for a short break. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back from that short break. Dapo, if you can hear me, let's get a reaction on the press release that released by the Sports Ministry. Hello, Dapo. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a safe, face saving kind of press statement. It is not what we should be hearing now. They told us they just employed director in charge of medical commission. Where was he before? He has always been a part of athletics. He is a man based in Port Harcourt. At a point in previous Olympics, while preparing for Rio, all the preparations were actually done at the University of Port Harcourt, where Dr. Ben Anugwije is based. So he knows everything about this thing. Why did he not? Advise them at the time? Why does he have to wait up till the bubble, the cookie crumbled before he's now coming out to say, okay, I'm going to serve as the man in charge of medical commission? What are we talking about? What kind of optimism, what kind of consolation is the minister giving to the athletes? It is meaningless at this point in time. What we are talking about is that these athletes went to Tokyo to compete. Now, just like Afa said, it is better to compete and not get a medal than to go to Tokyo and not be able to compete at all. They end the ability to eligibility also to compete. It is not a stroll in the park to get qualifying time. The qualifying time is difficult. It's like you winning a gold in the All African Games. Before the kind of preparation you're going to prepare, the kind of race you're going to race, whatever you are doing, if it is even short put, it takes some sweat. Now they have done this, you are coming out with a press statement. Now, why did you not give them this press statement 8 months ago when you are neck deep in the crisis of the federation? Neck deep, I mean, he was a protagonist. He was supporting one side of the divide against the other one. He inherited the crisis from the former minister Solomon Dalong, and he continued in that light. And he knew that this thing is wrong. The World Athletics Federation gave all their rulings, they gave all their regulations. You still insisted on doing the wrong thing. Now you are coming out with a statement. What statement are you giving? That statement is watery and it is baseless as it is, because some athletes' career has been ruined. We say we have 12 that can actually compete. What is their state of mind? Competition is starting tomorrow. What is their state of mind? What is their psyche like now? What is their own projection? When you open your eyes right in front of you there, the career of your colleagues are being ruined. So what are you going to do there? What are you going to do? They are just going to run for novelty, because that is what it takes. If you are not taking them serious, you are not taking their life serious, you are not taking their career serious, why should they go there to labor for the grace of Nigeria? Whatever they are going to do there, they are going to do it for Nigeria. If they win any medal, it is Nigeria that actually wins that medal. It is not, it's just a personal thing. Like what we have there is Team Nigeria, not Team Osoro, not Team Okagbari, not Team Amushon, but Team Nigeria. Now, you are coming, I don't just understand. The presidency should say something about this thing, and they must say it very, very quickly. I know that each of our wonderful performances, we get messages from the Senate president, we get from the presidency, we get from all the president of the Senate. It comes out with a press statement congratulating the athletes, congratulating the team. So they cannot prove ignorance now. They cannot tell us they don't know what is happening now. The pulse of the nation. We are in a money mood now, where athletes who labored for over 4 years to qualify to compete in the Olympics. 10 of them. We are not talking about 2. We are not talking about 1. 10. That is monumental. That is monumental. Please, this kind of press statement for me is baseless. There's no reason for it. You should have actually, take the part of reasoning long before now, so that everything will have worked well. The other one is still coming about the kit. Puma kit was the kit issue is still there. If you don't wear Puma from tomorrow, it is a big issue for Nigeria. We signed a contract for 5 years for $2.4 million, and they have started servicing the contract. Now you say you want to bring one Alpha kit from not the Alpha in the studio. There's another Alpha, kit. This one has a single F. There's another Alpha kit they want to use coming from the president of Basketball Federation, Musa Kida, has 80% share in that kit manufacturing company, and that's the kit Nigeria will be wearing. They made it very clear, and they're already parading, doing some kind of photo shoot with Alpha kit, while the one for Puma is hanging there and waiting for Nigeria to wear. Where you wear fantastic kit, world-class kit, the one recommended for each of those races. The one for 100 meters is different from the one for 200. The one for 400 is also different from the race is longer than that, and they are well, manufactured. When you do it, they still pay you free of charge. Now you prefer to go and ask government for money when this kit deal is there. It's just disgusting. I'm sorry about my choice of word, but it is the pain in the country now. The country is mourning. The president should do something urgent about this.
The president should actually do something about it. That is actually coming from Dapo at this point in time. I just want to read the names of the 12 that cleared athletes that will be be burning the track when the track and field event starts tomorrow. We have Toby Amuso in the 100 meters hurdles event. We have Ese Brume in the long jump event. We have George Patient Okon in the relay event. We have Uwankocha Grace in the 100 meters event. We have Blessing Okagbare. She will be competing in the 100 meters, 200 meters event. We have Uko Uniobon Ese. She will be competing in the 100 meters event. Enoch Adekoki. He will be competing in the 100 meters men's event. We have Ekene Chiki Chukubuka. He will be competing in the short short put event. We have Ishakiri in the 100 meters event, and Nathaniel Sampson in the relay team event, and also Divine Ududuru. He will be also be competing in the 100 and 200 meters event. But the events that the Nigerian team Nigeria will be participating in tomorrow is the 100 meters women's event, and Blessing Okagbare and Grace. They will be actually be competing for Nigeria tomorrow, and also we are expected to see the 400 4x4 mixed relay team also compete. And as it is now, we don't really have enough athletes for the 4x400 meters mixed relay. I don't know how we are going to do the magic, because the likes of Oduduru didn't actually know, Divine Oduduru didn't actually know fill in for that particular event. So at this point in time, we are in the state of dilemma. How do we salvage ourselves going forward?
It's just to make use of what we have. Already our team has been depleted, the athletics team, so to speak, as a result of this, disqualification. So it's sad that we can't even compete in, have a complete team to compete in that event. And who knows what would have come out of that event if, when you go for these kind of games, it's good to maximize, every kind of opportunity. This would have been, we keep talking about we not having enough events, when we go to the Olympics to compete. A lot of these countries, other big countries, are able to win different medals in different, sporting events, because they go there with different kinds of games, But here we don't even go with, we would even go there with, plenty of, sports to compete in, and the few that we even have there, now the team is depleted. So we don't even have enough team to even make up for it. So it's just to go there and see what we can do. We'll be looking out for Blessing, tomorrow. I've been really looking forward to the track and field event, starting to really see what, these athletes can do in the track and field event. So let's look forward and see what happens tomorrow.
I don't even think they're in the right frame of mind to compete right now. To me, I think we have hit the end of the road. Team Nigeria were sinking faster than the Titanic right now. So I don't see them doing anything tomorrow. That's the truth.
Vivian, do you see Blessing Okagbare and Grace, getting to put up an impressive performance when they burn the track tomorrow?
Well, I really pray that they will, because at the end of the day, something huge that just happened could just motivate them even more instead of depressing them. However, we've seen that their mental health has been affected. So honestly, I just want to just pray that she's going to do well, and she'll just go on to the next stage and do her best.
Of course, Chubuzo Blessing, she is actually rated among when it comes to the top five in the world at this point in time. Looking at impressive performance, appeal to the to the Olympic Games, she has actually she actually broke the Nigerian 100 meters record during the national trials in Lagos. She has actually been doing well in all the tours that she has been attending, and at this point in time, she is ranked top five in the world when it comes to the 100 meters event. Do you see her putting this disappointing, quagmire that we have seen ourselves, and getting, to put in her best tomorrow?
Well, for the human mind, nothing is impossible to achieve, but it will require a lot of, deep digging, to come out of the kind of a traumatic experience they have had to be subjected to. We can, before now, was it 2 or 3 days ago, we were all talking about the need for less prayers and more action. Be more pragmatic instead of just hinging everything we have to do on prayers. But from the look of things now,
The prayers
might all become prayer warriors all over again. Because it will require a lot of support, and for them to really know that Nigerians feel what they are going through. If there's a way they can get to have that feeling, that understanding that Nigerians are as pained as they are, perhaps it could help them, heal through this, and drive through. But at this stage, whatever happens with them, there's no blaming them for that, because no athlete would go through this kind of experience and remain whole for this whole process. It's utterly demoralizing. But we can only pray and hope that they dig deep, and find something that would help them, sail through this time.
Therefore, should Nigerian expect anything from Blessing or Kagbari and Grace tomorrow? Therefore, if you can hear me.
Down to yes, I can hear you very well, loud and clear. Can you hear me well now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes, Okagbare does not have any option than to go there and die on the track. She has to go there and die on the track. Going there to die on the track is doing everything possible, mustering all our energies to do something good in this edition of the Olympics. She has been going to the Olympics. Her first time was in 2008 at Beijing. I was there live and direct, where she won, a bronze medal in the long jump. Before she now decided to, concentrate in 100 and 200 meters. So the Okagbare that we saw at the London 2012, I was also there, is different from what we have today. She has been to the London 2012, Beijing, and also Rio. At the London 2012, she was in top 3. And in the final, she finished 7th position with all the weight of Nigeria, placed on her shoulders. So this time around, this is a third Olympics. She does this. Third Olympics means a space of 12 years. You cannot remain the same kind of sharp, athlete in 15, 16 years. It is not possible. So she is banking on this edition of the Olympics to do something great for her career, something great for Nigeria. She's going to the track to die there. So for Okagbare, I'm looking at something optimistic, but we have to also be hopeful that she does not sustain any form of injury. She does not eat any form of diet that will run her system down, and she cannot run as fast as she's supposed to run. All these are factors that we have to put in place, that we have to put into consideration for her to perform. But she doesn't have any option not to perform very well, be it the psychological effect and all that. She has to put that aside. She has gone through bigger psychological issues before, and she survived. So this one is aimed on her career. If you don't perform this time around, there's no way you can perform at Paris 2024. You will have been older. There's no magic in sport. There is a period for you to perform excellently. There's a period for you to be at the peak of your career. She was at the peak of her career in London, at Rio 2016 also. And this is a continuation, and this is almost the highest point of her peak. So if she does not do anything here, I'm not sure she can actually do anything meaningful at Paris 2024. So she owns everything. She owns everything to this edition of the Olympics in Tokyo.
Of course, at this time, Dapper says Okagbare holds everything she needs to prove herself, because this might just be the last Olympic Games she might be attending. But who knows what a blessing, who knows what is actually running in the minds of a blessing Okagbare at this point in time. But we'll go for a short break. Then after that break, we have a guest in the house talking about the Vice President of the AFN under the Guso Ibrahim leadership, talking about Sunday Adele. He will be here to actually talk us through of the happenings right there in Tokyo. Don't go nowhere.
I'm not sure how.
Welcome from that short break, and joining us on the show is Sunday Adeleye, the vice president under the leadership of Engineer Ibrahim Gusso, who is the president of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. Mr. Adeleye, how are you doing today?
Kamsa, not too good because, of course, I'm not happy. And it's just like I'm in a morning mood right now. But, well, we'll get over it.
Kindly tell us the genesis of this issue, talking about the art of competition test that we were supposed to do before the Olympics, that at the end of the day we didn't actually do.
Well, the out of competition test or non-notice test is a test that is a compulsory test that every athlete or Olympic-bound athlete must undertake before going to the Olympics. It's beyond you just making the standard and going to the Olympics. We dropped from category. It would have been easier if we were on category B or C. C means you're complying. B and co, you're still good. But B, you're in between the danger zone. But once you get to A, that means there's a red flag. We were supposed to do the needful by complying with those tests, which you have to do at least a minimum of 6 months before the games. The Athletics Federation of Nigeria's duty is just to prepare the list of athletes that are Olympic-bound athletes, submit them to another arm of which is the anti-doping agency NADO of Nigeria. They are the ones who have the doctors and what have you, and they conduct those tests. Going back to the issue of non-notice test, your non-notice test is a test that the athlete must not know, or any other person. Even the federation, we are not supposed to know when they will go for you to test you. It's a test that is out of competition. They can come to you, probably even you're in the market, because that's where you have the whereabouts. You must say, I am here, XYZ day. I'm traveling to Kano. I'm staying at XYZ hotel. I'll be in my girlfriend's house in Meduguri, XYZ address. They come for you anywhere, anytime. Nobody needs to call you to say, oh, where are you? We are coming. No, non-noticed. And they come there, they get their samples, and they move. One, you repeat the test again. The second time, you repeat the test again. The third time. If you have that one, then you are free within the space. But, I saw it coming, and then I raised alarm. You see, there's a problem where the Ministry of Sport is hijacking every arm of sport. They think it should be under them. They should control it. And when you give it to them, they will bastardize the place, make it useless. You created NADO to take care of this thing, which is the anti-doping, which is supposed to take care of athletics, boxing, basketball, football, all the sports in Nigeria. Athletes are supposed to go through. They should be doing tests. NADO, testing is not cheap. There's a separate budget for it. But they will always say, which test are we doing? Are they coming? What is the essence? Why do we have to do those tests? So they use NADO as a conduit pipe to siphon money and not do the test. And they bring up big budget and say they have paid this XYZ for doping test, doping control, and so on and so forth. We noticed it. We told them that, look, 1 year ago we wrote, we document, come and conduct this test. These are our list of athletes. The minister was head bent because he has hatred for Ibrahim Gusso and Sunday Adeleye. He told NADO that they should, because the minister said they should not take any document or any information from us. And we're wondering why. The president of the federation even said, come, I'm going to sponsor this test. I'm going to pay from my pocket. If there's lack of funds or stuff, I can pay for this because this Olympic is coming. They said no. They stopped talking to him. They stopped talking to us. They didn't want to have anything to do with us. I said, fine. 8 months ago, we got into the category A. Because if we had complied, NADO had complied, the sport had complied, we won't even get to that category A. But they turned deaf ear on the whole thing. After doing that, we now said, okay.
Sorry, before category A, where were we?
We were on B. So from B, when we moved to category A, I raised another alarm. I said, this is fire coming. Can you please do something? Leave the sentiments, leave the crisis. Let's leave all this crisis, the fighting, infighting, and what? Let's take care of this problem because the Olympics is coming, is around the corner. Fortunately for me, I have it everywhere. It's on the papers, on radio. Fortunately for me, leadership even carried the story then.
Yes, I did.
And the only thing I got was that I was called names. And they said I was looking for relevance, that I have been removed, or I was removed as the technical director. I'm trying to create
Problems.
unnecessary attention, problems, and make crisis everywhere. I said, okay, fine. Here we are today. To the same thing I said 8 months ago. To the same thing we said 1 year ago. It all boils down to incompetence. The minister is incompetent. His assistants, his aides are incompetent, because if they are competent, this has never happened before. No country, I challenge you, bring record, no country in the world has ever fell into this kind of trap like Nigeria. 10 athletes. These are athletes that are part of our program that we've discovered we're encouraging. We believe in another 1, 2, 3 years, they will become world leaders. And this is like a press of pause to their career right now.
You are closer to the athlete than we do. Can you tell us the mood of the athlete in camp at this point in time?
You know, it's actually painful, as if it's not this bad. Officials that travel there, you know, when you go for Olympics, you get souvenirs, mobile phones, and stuff, and what have you. These athletes that had issues, they took their phones, the phones they gave them. Somebody from Nigeria went there to sign those phones and took those phones.
In fact, not to cut you, when I saw that report today, it came out like a rumor. But since I knew that you were coming, I said, okay, since you are coming, you are going to clarify, and you are actually telling us that this actually happened and it's not a rumor.
It happened. The athletes are lamenting, except maybe because I've been shouting since in the morning now. They may have given them. But as before I got into your studio today, now, those phones are still missing. They said because the athletes are leaving, that they are leaving and they did not compete at the Olympics, they will not give them the phone. Are these people not heartless? The kits we sent that belongs to this athlete that the athlete should wear, the minister categorically said they should not wear the kit. Giving this athlete 5 kits, 5 pairs of kits, wash and wear. You wear one, you wash it again and go and wear. In the bags we sent to Tokyo right now, each athlete has a pair of over 41 items in each bag, up to face mask, to games village wear, everything, shoes, everything were packed. And if it's not wickedness, why would you say this athlete should not use it? What is the minister looking for? This has taken us back to Stone Age.
Absolutely.
This is ludicrous right now.
But looking at the athletes, those ones that have been cleared to compete in the Olympic Games, Blessing Okagbare, she's going to start her heat tomorrow, same as Grace one culture. Also, we are expected to see. I'm still waiting to see what miracle will happen when the 4x4 mixed relay team we will actually be called to come and run on the track. But at this point in time, what should we expect from those athletes who are cleared to compete?
Well, I will be very honest with you because I once wore their shoes. I was an athlete. I competed. These athletes are scared right now. I got information even from one of the big athletes today that in 48 hours, because of this our category A problem, they've doped her, they've tested her 2 times within 24 hours, taking her blood and urine. Do you know what it means? Sucking your blood constantly. Not just one sample. They will take one sample, take another one, that's one session, and do another one again. These athletes are going through trauma that the Minister of Sport put us into right now, and the ministry. I think they should come and tell Nigerians how they brought us to this point. You see, I had one of my friends, talking about Blessing Okagbare, before I stepped in the studio, that Nigeria is resting on her shoulders, that this Olympics she has to. Don't put pressure on any athlete, please. Don't put pressure. I think what we need is to pray for them, support them. I competed in Spain, and I know what the Spanish Federation or government does for the athlete. There's what they call beca and premium. These athletes are placed on salary monthly. Right. And then for you that is in another category, there's another bonus you get for staying on that category. If you're dropping, that money drops. You get it. Do we do that here? I want you to ask. You're a journalist now. Do your findings. What have we done for these athletes? People preparing for Olympics is not when you are going that you start saying that I'm doing adopt an athlete program, 2 months to Olympics. That program is not even yours. The designer of the program is late now. The idea around it was not emergency. He planned it because we spoke when he had his dreams. He planned it and he said, look, 2 years before the Olympics, 3 years before the Olympics, let these athletes have something to prepare themselves. We don't take care of our athletes, but we want results.
Just too bad. We want results. Vivian, if you can hear me, do you have any question to ask Mr. Sunday? We can hear you.
Okay, my question would be, where do we go from here? Because he can't continue like this.
Well, where we have to go from here is a total overhaul of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Bring people that have ideas. When we're talking about sports, you don't bring a farmer and make him Minister of Sports. Don't even bring a doctor if he's not a doctor of sports and make him a Minister of Sports. Bring technocrats, people that knows the A and B of sports. If I'm the minister today, I will not wake up 3 months or 2 months before the Olympics and say I'm dissolving the Federation Board. That's ludicrous. Because you dissolve the Federation Board, the board that has been taking care of athletes, that have been carrying athletes from 2017, and then 2 months before the Olympics, you say you dissolve the board, and then bring your friends and cronies and make them caretaker committee chairmen, and those are the ones that will go to the Olympics. So do you think those people that have been working since over 3 years, you think they are stupid? Do you think they don't have a program or successive programs or plans, and they will just sit down? Don't you think they will frustrate even your effort?
So you're talking about, if I get a hint of sabotage now.
Yes.
But
shouldn't be that shouldn't be ideal. At some point, the country has to be put forward. And whatever grievances, whichever faction or whichever camp has to be subsumed behind or subsumed under the need to make
Sabotage.
Nigeria
Let me make
Yeah.
it very clear.
Okay.
When you talk about sabotage,
Yeah.
bringing your friends and cronies, that's the sabotage here. Because you bring people that don't have the experience, don't know what has happened in the past, and you hand over the federations to them.
Of course, let us have a pause now. The sports editor, leadership, news actually not join us all the way from Tokyo. Salifu,
Don't know what has happened,
Salifu, how are you doing today?
and you hand over the federations to them.
Of course, let us have a pause now. The sports editor, leadership, news actually not join us all the way from Tokyo. Salifu.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Go on. Hello,
Yes,
Salifu, we can hear you. How is the mood?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, Salifu. We can barely hear you. If you can hear me, tell us what is the mood like in the camp of Team Nigeria ahead of the start of the athletics event tomorrow? Of course, getting through Salifu is difficult at this point in time. But that point, if you can hear me, do you have a question for Sunday Adile at this point?
Well, he knows me very, very well. He's my friend, and I always, support the administration of Ibrahim Gusso when we're on, and I commend, his efforts, towards development of athletics in Nigeria. And I can say, boldly that he is one of the young brains, the young, sport administrators that should have taken athletics to a greater height. But by and large, everything that happened, to athletics was actually inherited from the former minister Solomon Dalong. Solomon Dalong actually kickstarted the crisis in athletics. Well, I was actually surprised when the new minister actually, told the line of Solomon Dalong from 2017, all through they removed the board of the board where Sunday Adele was a vice president and Ibrahim Gusso the president, enthroned one Olamide George. I was surprised again. Olamide George was not actually, dancing to their tunes any longer. It was removed and they brought a politician from Delta, a politician that does not know anything about athletics from Delta, the commissioner for sport from Delta State, who actually fought to be the president of the chairman of Delta FA. They brought is so sad, and I actually sympathize with Sunday Adele because aside from this one, there's a second round of battle, the battle of the Puma kits. Nigeria signed the contract worth $2.4 million for 5 years, and that one is still coming tomorrow. By the time the Nigerian athletes don't put on the Puma kits, is another issue entirely. So now we are still talking. We are still the anger is brewing. The anger is brewing. But basically, nothing thrives when there is crisis. The main issue about this whole thing was crisis, and the minister turned a blind eye to everything. He got even a regulation, a directive from the World Athletics, and they kept it aside that this administration, this board, the board of Ibrahim Gusso, is the authentic board that should be in charge of Athletics Federation of Nigeria. But the man set it aside. All the rulings, he set everything aside. But look at what we are facing now. Look at what I sympathize with Sunday Adele because his own career as a first class sport administrator, especially in athletics, was actually truncated. Truncated. Where we get that opportunity for, I don't know, except this minister, is not there. As long as he is there, the other ones, Solomon Dalong started it with the issue of the funds from World Athletics. From $50,000 to 150, and they collected everything, and only God knew what they did to that funds. The Nigerian problem in athletics started, and Solomon Dalon was at the peak of it. He handed over to another minister that we thought was coming to salvage the situation, but instead of salvaging, he destroyed the situation. So what do we do now? Our athletes, those who are qualified, they spent almost 3-4 years qualifying, and these athletes were actually groomed by the administration of Ibrahim Gusso to rise to education when the time comes. These athletes are high up there now, but their dreams have actually been quashed. They cannot compete. They cannot compete in the Olympics they qualified for. And I can say it again, that more than half of these 10 may not qualify for the Olympics again. It is not, I'm not cursing them, but I know what the top sport entails. I know what the sport entails. I've been covering athletics for a very long time. I even covered some of the events competed for by Sunday Adele when he was an athlete. So it is a shame. I don't know what to do. I don't know why the presidency is holding on. They are not doing anything up till now. Those athletes have developed psychological issues, mental health. They are saying it themselves that they are not mentally balanced, as it were, and we are still there. Nothing is happening. Nothing has changed. Somebody said, appointed in charge of medical commission, has been in athletics for over 30 years. Where was he when all this were actually happening? He can't actually, advise them. And again, the issue of the registration for this dope test. There was a claim yesterday that the Sunday Adele administration, refused to drop the password, that they only got it 2-3 days ago. I don't know how true that is. Sunday Adele is here now. He knows that. I speak frankly. I'm not scared of anybody when the issue is sport. I say the facts, and the facts are there. While we also need him now to help clarify why, if that is actually true. Is it true that they kept the password away from those that took over? But those that took over illegally. Olamide just took over illegally some years ago. Now, 2-3 months to the Olympics, the board was dissolved, and another illegal administration led by Tonobok Okowa has taken over a bunch of novices when the issue is athletics. So where do you must expect what we are seeing now? You must expect it. When you put a square peg in a round hole, it cannot even fit. And that is what we're experiencing now. So it's a very sad situation. But Sunday Adele, please help us clarify if the current administration actually got the password from your administration 2-3 days ago. Thank you.
Well, this is laughable. Anybody in the sport industry, including yourself, and I know you know the truth, you just want me to say it here, and I will say it. What has password got to do with information that you know 1 year before? If we had notified you 1 year before that this crisis is coming, and mind you, when AIU writes athletics or WADA writes athletics, they don't just write AFN. They write even to the Anti-Doping Agency of Nigeria, which is the anchor, NADO. So NADO should come and tell me if they did not get the email or get any notification or whatsoever, because of course, this is not sent only to Nigeria, it's sent everywhere to every country. Password has nothing to do with this. They are only looking for where to hide their heads or push their blames to. Okay, if you got the password just 2 days ago, so as professionals, as you say, you know what you're doing, you don't know that out of competition test, Mary Onyale is there, the special advisor to the minister. Has she not undergone those processes before? Call them. Gabriel Okon has been a board member. He has attended. He has attended, and they claim he's the technical director now. He has attended how many Olympics, how many World Championships? He doesn't know the rules. Beyoku himself, that is the secretary I remember Beyoku he came even as a copper to AFN far back in the 90s. You understand? So he doesn't know the rules. Maria Warfield, that has been the secretary of AFN since ancient days, does not know the rules. And they don't know that you have to do those tests even without sending any mail to you. So this is just a story that makes no meaning right now. Password has nothing to do with it. And in the issue of password again, I want to make it very clear. Ibrahim Shehu Gusau was the president of Athletics Federation of Nigeria until when did the election happen? Was it
June 14th?
June 14th. So his board has control over the email. So even when 1 year ago, if he had told them, so it's within his right to tell them, to inform them, and then it's within his right to act. And he acted. We acted. I acted. I was the technical director. I acted. We did all those things, and they did not follow. They are making contradictory statements. The ministry is saying that it was administrative or something, and I don't even know what they're saying. And somebody is coming, Tony Obok is coming to say that AFN accepts the fault. Who is AFN? We are AFN. We cannot accept the fault. Mm-hmm. So I don't know who he is speaking for. You understand? I don't know who he's speaking for.
At this point in time, I think we need to go straight to Tokyo. Salifu, if you can hear me, how is the mood like in the Team Nigerian camp ahead of the start of the athletics event tomorrow?
And then within his right to act, and he acted. He acted. I acted. I was the technical director. I acted. We did all those things, and they did not follow. They are making contradictory statements. The ministry is saying that.
Of course, we still find it no difficult to connect with Salifu right there in Tokyo. But at this point in time, Sunday Adelaide, before I let you go, what will be your message to the athlete at this point in time? Because we can't afford not to win a medal in athletics in this Olympics.
Well, our prayers are with the athletes over there. And we believe in you guys. We strongly believe in you. We know you're going to do us proud and make this country proud. And of course, no pressure. Just go out there, do your best. Don't let any pressure stay on your shoulders. Do whatever you can do, and then leave the rest to God. We would have been there, but we just even found another revelation that the Minister of Sports actually sent a travel restriction. He ordered for his travel restriction for us to come to Tokyo. We will have been there. So we just got the hold of those documents where he made some allegations that were not true, and then to say we should not be allowed entry into Japan. And I think that is another sabotage.
Why?
Because he feels they will have control. They want to have control to the World Athletics. They want to have, since if we are not there, we can't tell our story. If we are not there, we cannot tell our stories to the World Athletics. We cannot tell it to the International Olympic Committee. We cannot meet our partners and other partners that are willing to do business with Nigeria athletics. We have other companies that are saying, oh, we have a meeting when we come to Tokyo, but unfortunately, we have just, I'm sure that will be another stage of bad luck.
A whole lot happening when it comes to athletics in Nigeria at this point in time. If we keep talking about it, we will not actually finish it before our times get to round up. But at this point in time, we want to go for a short break. We want to thank Sunday Adeleye for coming on the show today. Hopefully all the best to Team Nigeria in Tokyo. But for now, we'll go for a short break, and when we come back, it's still 2020 Tokyo in 120 right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. Don't go nowhere. Japan, with the likes of the Ugandas, Morocco, right there in Kenya. The venue will be the Seafood Waterways right there in Japan. The event comes up 8:15 Nigerian time. Our athlete talking about, okay, the name is not actually here, but a rowing athlete should be competing in the rowing tournament. Talking about Esther Tuko, she will be the one competed in that particular event. So it's as it is now. It's just her no competing in that event. So should we actually expect anything from her? Even looking at the fact that she is still in the same games village where the rest 10 athletes who were disqualified are actually no camping.
For some sports, no disrespect to to sports, but the truth is, for a sport like rowing, it's a sport that is quite alien to Nigeria, and it's not really a sport that a lot of Nigerians have taken into. So, but nice one for her for even qualifying in the first place. So, like we always say, for these kinds of sports, just like we said about Uche, participation is key. So, and we hope that these kind of things, will only we go on, to serve as an inspiration and motivation to, other people who might be looking up to her to see that, okay, there are some sports that the younger ones might be wanting to go into, but you might not really have a role model who you look up to say, okay, there's no Nigerian who does this sport except what I see, the foreigners or Westerners do on TV. But for you to see a Nigerian who is, will be participating in rowing in the Olympic, I think it's really motivational. So, and I hope that in years to come that more and more, youngsters will take to a sport like this. Nevertheless, I wish her the best. I wish her well, and I really hope that she just goes out there and does the best she can, and whatever happens, if she can go all the way to, clinch a medal, then fine. If she doesn't, I mean, no hard feelings. I mean, it's only she can only get better and, inspire, a whole generation of young kids to take into, this kind of sport.
Chubus, are you expectant?
Oh, well, of course, we would always be pessimistic as Nigerians. Optimistic
Optimistic
rather as
rather, yeah.
Nigerians, regardless of the situation. It's a good one, but it again shows you that because of lack of maybe interest,
Mhm.
but much more lack of the basic
Facilities, yes.
sports like this
Mm.
don't seem to fly.
No, of course they
Yeah.
get to use the Jabi Lake as a training ground because I know during the last National Sport Festival that was hosted in Abuja 2018, Jabi Lake was used and Jabi Lake has been used to host international
Absolutely.
talking about the African
But-
event. But it was just so sad that at the last National Sport Festival in Edo State, we didn't actually see rowing due to the fact that, according to them, there was no, facilities right
No,
there
it's
in
still
Edo
part of
State
it. It's
for
still,
them
yeah,
to,
it's still part
to
of what
compete.
Chibuzo is saying.
So at this point
You
in
know,
time,
it's still part of
we
it.
should we should just expect it.
It comes back to
To facilitate.
the thing,
Yes.
and it's a consciousness thing.
Mm.
If there are certain sports that need to be pushed and projected,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly,
beyond
yeah.
others,
Mhm.
if you will. Naturally, football comes to us
Mhm.
a lot more easy.
Mm.
But sports like this, there has to be some more conscious effort to really push it and really sell it. In the absence of that, you might just keep having people from Nigerians abroad push it from there, and
Yeah.
they come to represent us.
Yeah,
down
diaspora Nigerians.
Mm.
Of course, Vivian, let's hear your comment. Esther Tuku, she heads straight to the sea for the rowing event tomorrow.
I can only wish her congratulations for making it this far. And this is her first Olympics. I can say that she can gain experience from this and come back in the next Olympics. I'm just hoping that she does well. Again, I hope that the mental issues has not affected her that much. But I'm praying that she will do her best.
Of course, Vivian, she's actually praying. I hope you are fasting. I hope you are adding fasting to your prayers at this point in time, because the team will need all the prayers and all the fasting for them to ensure that they clinch a medal in the Olympics. But we just want to tell our viewers that you can actually send in your comment. The big question of today is: can the Tigers they defeat France for them to come back to the tournament? But Salif will join us all the way from Tokyo. Salif, you can hear me. How are you doing? How is the mood of Team Nigeria talking about in the camp? Hello, Salifu.
I respect, the absence of that.
Hello, Salifu.
You might just keep having from Nigerians abroad. From there, they come to represent us as correct. Yeah.
Still finding it difficult to connect with Salifu at this point in time. Dapo, let's get your reaction. The rowing event is starting tomorrow. We have a Nigerian that will be competing in that event against the best in the world.
Spectacular from the rowing, especially despite having Esther there, is not a sport that we take very, very serious. It will have been a serious deal if a coach from the training center Esther trains I think in Russia would actually come with her to Tokyo. But in the absence of that, nothing. I saw the first event. I saw the Nigerian coach attack to her, asking her to pray, do sign of cross before going into the waters to compete. What is the meaning of that? What's the meaning of that? Is this about sign of cross?
That was the Secretary General of the Rowing and Canoeing Federation talking about Oluwabumi.
Yes, it's the same thing. What the tips she gave her was, coaching tips, and it is not supposed to be. In the past, even in athletics, we used to have American coaches because we know that the Americans are superb in athletics. The sport ministry. Now, the problem we've been having over the years is just the cancellation of the sport commission. Now it is on the table in the Senate now, in the National Assembly, and it's going to be coming back very, very soon. The Sport Commission has professionals who knows what sports, where sports, where they shoot pinches. We should go back to this. Esther is there, competing in rowing when we don't have technocrats, when we don't have experts that will actually give her the leeway to do well. Somebody's asking her to do sign of cross. Say praise God or whatever. It is Jesus, thank you very much. Jesus as if they were there when Jesus was bleeding the blood, he bled. So it is not proper. We should go back to what it used to be in the glory days of Nigerian sport. Gone are the days when you go boxing, we know we are going to win a medal, either bronze, gold or silver. Weightlifting, even for the boxing, Nigeria, I had Cuban coaches for boxing, and they stayed in Nigeria for over 10-15 years. The same thing for wrestling and weightlifting. We had coaches from Bulgaria, coaches from from Poland. They were here for years on contracts. That was when Nigeria took sport very, very serious. You cannot expect the Secretary General of Rowing and Yachting, Federation to give Esther any tip that can even give her.
Dapo, are you still with us? Okay. Since we are finding it difficult to connect to Dapo at this point in time. But away from rowing, we know that the Tigers that will be playing their second group game in the ongoing Tokyo 20 games against the France. They actually lost their first match to the number one in the world. That's it's talking about the United States of America, and they are yet again to seek redemption when they battle France in the next group game tomorrow, right there in Tokyo. Now we know that they actually tried in the first match. They were edged about 9 points,
Just 9 points.
separating them
Cutting a
from the
20-point
US.
lead to just 9 points,
So
at the end of the game.
at this point in time, Jonathan, what would be your message for the girls, OTs, and girls right about now? Because technically the guys are out, so we are now relying on the girls for them to deliver the goods.
I think I'm expectant. I believe they should put a smile on our faces. For the past one, we've been hearing sad stories. At least let us smile for once tomorrow.
Any area do you want the girls to improve on in terms of
You know, there are three
shooting?
throws,
Okay.
3 pointers.
But looking about the turnovers, they actually did well in the match against the United States. But what aspect do you think Coach Otis can actually improve on so that the girls can actually get a win against France?
But just like Jonathan said, I think if they work more on their 3 pointers, that'll do a lot. 3 pointers have a way of helping you gather more points. And from the game I saw them play against the USA, if they play that kind of game against the French, I think they should come away with a victory in that one. No disrespect to the French side, no doubt about that, but they put up a very good showing against the United States. So I expect them to lift up the take their game a notch higher. So if they were able to do that, then we should be expecting a first the Tigers win in these Olympics. And of course, their all-round play, the passing game, and all that, they'll need full concentration on this one. Just go there, play your game, and don't even keep an eye on the Japan game. I mean, when that comes, we'll cross that hurdle. But just stay focused, stay concentrated on the French game, and we hope for for a favorable result for the Tigers.
Hmm. Vivian, the first match, assistant coach was not on the bench to actually support the Tigers. But at this point in time, report actually came in that she was actually left stranded by the NOC. She was not registered alongside with some other officials for the Tigers. Well, will this not affect the performance of the Tigers ahead of the France game?
It will affect their performance, but maybe not that much because the French team, they are strong already and they have a very impressive record with or without the Nigerian player. So, for example, France, they won the silver in 2012. They were fourth position 2016. So they are already good themselves. So I'd say that we just need to hope and pray again. Well, hopefully they'll be able to just do even better than they did against the United States.
Dapo. Okay,
Yeah.
before I go to Dapo, Chubuzo, looking at the girls, at their performance against the United States, should the French team stand on their way to victory?
Well, I think the French team also lost their opening match against Japan.
Oh.
And so they'll be coming, very fiery now. They'll be coming knowing that okay, they have to put everything on the line for this one. And we also came out of a defeat too against the United States. So it's going to be a very, very tough match. There's no doubt about that because whoever wants it most is going to get it. However, if you watch the way we played against the United States, at some points we had the edge. I think in either the second or the third quarter, we had it going for us. But
we actually won the first quarter.
Exactly. So but it's always the case, and I think we've made that point here and kind of emphasize it. Finishing how you finish. It's not just so much about how you start up; it's about how you finish. I think if the Tigers can take some of those tips, take it into the French game, knowing that okay, nobody's an underdog in this one. Fight it out, grind it out. You might not come out too badly.
Dapo, Nigerian, the Tigers versus France. Any hope of we, getting to return to winning ways?
Yes, I'm very, very hopeful. I'm just wishing them well. I'm hoping they will make us happy. I'm hoping that the projections we made before the Olympics will actually get, to friction, and that's what that is my own position. But to let you know that it's going to be a very tough game. We have a number of players there even from WNBA, and even there's a Nigerian there, Monica Okoye. She's a Nigerian, but she's playing for France, and she's very, very good. And Nigeria is also very good. Just like somebody just said now, it's about the end game. But the determination going into this game against France, if we really want to win, is to be mindful about the points, about the scores from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. We must ensure that we lead in all these quarters, especially the first, second, and the fourth. We can do whatever experimentation we want to do in the third quarter, but we must be very serious about the end game in the fourth quarter. No turnovers, reduce it. And I don't know that actually applied to the men, that they get tired in the fourth quarter, but it is not the same thing with the ladies, with the girls. Is different. I believe so much that they've worked very hard. They were in camp long before the men got to camp. They were the first to actually start, the camping in America. And some persons were actually asking me in 2 games now, they've not seen Evelyn Akato. That was our, most offensive player that charges the opponent. So I don't know if she's in that team. I'm not sure she's there, but the people kept asking, and I said, leave the team, the coaches, to let them do their job. They believe in the players they've actually selected. But for us, we want them to go out there, be very resolute, reduce the turnover, get your shots right, especially just like Alpha said, get your 3 points. Ensure you prepare the player that will be getting us these 3 points. 3 points is not for all the players. We have specialties. We have specific player who will be doing this. Our whole focus is just to get the 3 points, just like Achua did in the men's game and before the Olympics. Get your specialist. It used to be in the past. We used to have one player that played all our career in First Bank. Her name is Tai. I don't forgotten her surname now. She was a left-handed player. She was the player that was getting us the 3 points. You'll be surprised that without that girl in that game, most games that Nigeria actually won in the past, talking about the Tigresses, they wouldn't have won. So it's very important that we get our 3 points, player intact, relaxed mood, and let her go there to help Nigeria win that game. I believe so much that it will be a very positive game for Nigeria.
Of course, we have been talking about the Tigress, but we just need to, look into the performance of the French team, because in their first game against Japan, Japan actually defeated France by just a 4 point, 74-70. In the first quarter of that game, the French team actually won that quarter 17-13. The second quarter, the host Japan came and won that particular quarter 21-19. The third quarter also Japan won the third quarter 18-13 before also winning the last quarter 22-21 points. So just taking a look at the performance of the French team, they actually started very well. Also they started the game very well. They actually in the second quarter they didn't actually perform poorly. They actually did well, 21-19. And the third quarter, I think they were left behind 18-13. And in the last quarter, the Japanese had 22 points, while they had 21 points. So it seems that starting, they are very, very good. With the way the Tigers also started against the United States, they actually started very, very good. But at this point in time, looking at this performance from the French team, what do you think Otis need to do for him to ensure that the Tigers get to use their strength to defeat the French team?
Basically, it's just maintaining the tempo. You start the game energetic, and as the game goes on, you eventually begin to lose steam. The tempo must be sustained. You know, the French side, like we said, I mean, the game against Japan was a very close game, but the Japanese playing at home, they'll always have that home advantage
Of
to
course.
working for them. So I think the Tigers really need to sustain the tempo, because if you start by winning your first quarter, if you can maintain that tempo, then you can be sure of finishing strong. So I think keeping that momentum going is very, very important. And I think if they can do that, I really see them emerging victorious, because this game, like Chibuzo said initially, this will be a cracker, because the French lost their first game, the Tigers lost their first game, so and there has to be a winner tomorrow,
So
and you know that
both of them
which
are are wounded.
Wounded
exactly. So you
Lions.
know
Are
that
wounded
whichever
lions.
of these teams, if you lose tomorrow, then your chances of going into the next round are very slim, because if any of these teams lose tomorrow, it means you are condemned to win your last game.
Yes.
And for Nigeria, our last game will be against Japan,
Japan.
The host
with the
country.
host country.
And it's a
And
big goal of Japan to win the United States.
United
So
States.
them also
exactly,
will be needing
exactly.
that
Last game.
particular win
Yes.
against the
So
Tigers.
if France lose, also their last game too will be against the United States. So it's a really tough game, because if you lose this one and you lose your final game, there's no chance of you even finishing as the best
The
loser.
best.
So it's a tough game, but I really, really hope that the Tigers will, get their acts together. I just hope tomorrow will be their day, in sport. On some days it might just be your day, and
And
you
everything
come
will
out
just
smoking,
click.
and so I just hope tomorrow it will be their day. They get everything right on target, and we hope for all the best.
In the French team, I will tease the coach of the Tigers to actually watch out for Elsa Kruda. She actually scored 18 points in that first match, and she made 9 rebounds in that particular one. So I think the Tigress that defends will just have to watch out for that particular game, because she is the one pulling all the strings for the French team. But looking at the group B, where Nigeria is placed fourth in the group. US, no doubt about it. They are the leaders in the group, followed by Japan, followed by France, and followed by Nigeria. Why France is ahead of us was because of the number of points
Yeah.
that they actually considered against Japan was not as much as the one we considered
Yeah,
against
US.
US.
Yes.
But looking at Group A, Spain are the leaders in that group. They have 4 points. Serbia have 3 points. Canada have 3 points also. Korea have 2 points. So it means at this point in time, Spain and Serbia has qualified for the next. Will qualify for the next stage of the tournament. While Nigeria will be hoping to defeat France and for them to qualify. Also looking at Group C, China leading the pack with 2 points. Belgium also followed Australia and Puerto Rico. So strange that Puerto Rico are doing well when it comes to basketball, the women
Yes,
basketball.
Yeah.
don't forget that Puerto Rico is almost like would have been like a U.S.
America.
state,
Yes.
So they have a strong basketball culture, and they have a couple of players also playing in the WNBA. So I'm not really surprised at all about Puerto Rico. They are a strong basketball playing nation also, so no surprises there at all.
Of course, no surprises there at all. Want to wish the Tigers all the best when they play against the French team, and we hope that they get to do the nation proud. The minister should not go there and start promising anything, start promising heaven and earth. She should just allow the girls to
Stay,
do the job
stay in his
tomorrow.
hotel.
Stay clear. Of
Mm.
course, stay clear from that match day venue, sport minister, if you can hear me. Of course, for away from basketball, we head straight to the football event. Talking about the women's event, some teams have been sent back in. At this point in time, the competition is in the quarterfinal stage, and the quarterfinal matches will be decided tomorrow. And we are going to be seeing fireworks in that particular match. Of course, yeah, we're going to see the likes of Canada host Brazil, Great Britain play Australia, Sweden. We actually know be playing the host nation, Japan, and Netherlands will actually be playing They'll be playing. Okay, it just went off now. But looking at the fixtures, okay, Netherlands will be playing the almighty United States of America that actually lost their first match against Sweden. But what should we expect looking from the match between Canada and Brazil? Let's start with that match. Alpha.
Canada, Brazil. I expect the Brazilians to come in with a win in that. Whenever it comes to football, the Brazilians are always up there, especially in female football. So I'm not expecting any surprises except maybe an upset happens. If the Canadians win, it will actually be an upset. But the game I'm actually looking forward to there is actually the Netherlands and the United States. The Netherlands, have been a very, very high scoring team in this competition. In the first round of group stage, they scored over 20 goals, considered less than 5 goals. So I'm looking forward to that one. Of course, the United States lost their first game, but bounced back to make it to the quarterfinal. So tomorrow, I mean, is a knockout stages. So I'll be expecting a tough one. And for me, it's a tough one to call. Really, the United States haven't really been at their best, really, the female team in this competition so far. So I wouldn't want to give it, say, an outright victory for the US. So tough one to call, but I say let the best team win in that encounter.
Let the best team win. That is coming from Alpha. But before I come to Jonathan, Chubuzo, Dapo, and Vivian, let's go for a quick commercial short break. And when we come back, we are still talking about the quarterfinal stage of the women's competition. And also, I will get to read your comments after the short break. Don't go nowhere. Welcome from that short break. It's still 2020 Tokyo in 120 right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. We are actually talking about the quarterfinal matches that will be decided tomorrow in the women's event. But Jonathan, looking at the fixture, Canada, Brazil, Great Britain, Australia, Sweden, Japan, Netherlands, United States, which match it will be the biggest match for you, and which team do you tip to
Definitely,
win
the game of
the
the
match?
round is the game between the Netherlands and the United States.
Mm.
Based on present form, I see the Netherlands beating the United States. Like I say in football, as good as last 90 minutes.
Mm.
The US have not been playing really well in this tournament.
Mm.
So I see the Netherlands beating the USA and even winning the tournament.
Do you see Netherlands winning the tournament at Chubuzo?
Well, at this point, anything is possible. Yeah, but there's no taking anything away from the United States. They are still, whichever way you look at it, they're still the powerhouse in female football.
Yes, of course.
But for me, I think I'm just looking out for an interesting cracker. Whoever wants it most, of course, have to get it. At stage where anything goes.
Whoever needed it the most will actually get the most. Vivian, let's get your reaction on the final stage of the women's event.
For me, apart from the Netherlands and the United States, I'm looking forward to Great Britain and Australia, just because it's going to make headlines here if they win, if Great Britain win.
Okay. But looking at the match between Netherlands and United States.
Yes, so they are both strong teams. I think the United States is going to win. Yeah.
Okay. Dapo, looking at the fixtures for the quarterfinal stage, let's get your comment on them.
All those games, these are games that are world-class games. All the countries in the quarterfinal stage, they are world powers when the issue is women's football. They are world powers when the issue is women's football. I'm very, very impressed. I've watched a number of matches and I see, a different kind of women football development. The kind of the playing pattern of all the teams is far different from what we saw at the last edition of the World Cup in France. So I say the toughest game there will be the match against Netherlands and the USA. It's going to be a very tough game. It's going to be a very tough game. The Swedes are also tough customers. The same thing with the Japanese, but I don't see them going too far because especially the Americans, when the stake is high, they play to expectations, and that is what we are going to. That's what we are going to see. It's going to be very tough this time. Only the best teams we actually go into the semifinals, and I foresee the semifinals having a character of what we saw at the last edition of the World Cup, with the Americans taking the front seat rather.
Dapo is actually tipping the Americans to win the gold medal in the football event. For me, I don't want us to actually to rule out Sweden, because we know that Sweden actually defeated United States in their first match. Also, Sweden also defeated the United States in the quarterfinal stage of the last Olympics. So you cannot actually write Sweden off because they play very, very well when it comes to attacking football.
So
And
female football powerhouse.
of course, and that defense and that midfield are very, very, very solid, airtight. It will be very, very difficult for any of the countries to actually to penetrate. But it is just so sad that we're going to see the likes of Japan. Maybe they might actually crashed out in the football event tomorrow. For my pick, I'll pick Brazil will actually win against Canada, Great Britain, Australia. Australia can actually spring forth magic and defeat Great Britain. But Vivian, don't be angry that I'm saying Australia will beat Great Britain at this point in time. It's just my own opinion. Sweden will defeat Japan for me. Then Netherlands and United States will go to the wire. Anything can happen. The pendulum can actually swing in any way. So let's just keep our finger crossed on that particular match. But for now, we go straight to the medal table at this point in time. We want to see the medal table. My producer, if you have the medal table, can you please put it on screen for us? Let us see. Of course, the medal table, as it stands, as it is, Japan are still leading the pack with uh, 10 gold medals, with 3 silver medals, 5 bronze medals, making it a total of 18 medals for Japan. Talking about the host country, United States with 9 gold, also People's Republic of China with 9 golds, Russia has 7 gold, Great Britain have 4 golds. Republic of Korea has 3 golds. That are the tables medals that we have at this point in time. But looking at the tables medal that we have now, it might actually not change any minute from now. But looking at the tables medal, uh, are we really? Is the boys being separated from the men?
No, no, clearly they've been separated already because I mean, we have Japan, we have the US, we have China, there's ROC, Russian Federation, then of course we have Great Britain. So usually this and Australia are close somewhere close by too. Usually in this kind of competition, these are the countries that you always see ending up in the top five. In total, the US have more medals, but the Japanese are leading now because of the quality of medals. US has about 25 medals in total, while Japanese have 18. But
Yes,
the Japanese have more.
of the gold medals.
Yes, have nine, or yes,
10,
nine,
10.
10, and the US has 9. Then they have more silver medals. So at the end of the day, like I've maintained, at the end of the day, I still see the US, coming up with, having the overall haul of medals will actually, be in the favor of the US.
Last year we saw the last Olympics. We saw the US, winning the Olympics with 46 gold medals. Are we going to see that this year?
Yeah, it's not beyond the United States. The size of your team determines how far you go to some extent. However, the quality of your team ultimately determines the kind of medals you rake in. For countries with a large contingent, you can be sure that they are going to ride it out. And at the point where you have some, like I hinted yesterday, a number of countries that want to project, their influence.
Sorry, just to cut you short. News actually, coming
Updated.
right now, updated. Table medal. It's actually China, the one leading the pack with 15 gold medal, with 7 silver medal, 9 bronze medal, making a total of 31. Followed by Japan with 15 gold medal, 4 silver medal, 6 bronze medal. The United States also, they have a 14 gold medal, 14 silver medal, 10 bronze medal. Russia have 8 gold. While Australia has 8 gold also. Great Britain now have 5 gold. Vivian will be smiling where she is right now. Republic of Korea had 4 golds. France 3 gold. Germany 3. Italy 3. Netherlands, Canada, Hungary, Slovenia, Croatia, Kosovo. They all have 2 gold medals. At this point in time, Vivian, let's get your reaction. Great Britain now have 5 gold medals. What is actually not working for them right now?
Because they have way better management. The press here is very heavy on the Olympics, so the athletes know exactly what they need to do and how they need to perform. So I'd say that again, I'm looking forward to just see way more medals being won by the GB team.
Of course, Chibuzo, let's get a reaction on the medal table.
Yeah. So like I was trying to, so so the big countries have a lot going on. This plays into the whole thing about projecting their influence and projecting how powerful, subtle power, if you want, if you will. So it's not surprising at all that you see the table fluctuate the way it is. Today you have the United States there, the next day you have Japan there. I'm sorry, you have China there, and then you have Japan, the host country. But ultimately, I think from the way this is rolling out, we might have to see a tough contest between China and in
And
the
the USA.
US. So I have my eyes on those two countries. Russia, when it was USSR, used to be very strong on this, but ever since they became just Russia, they've not been so tough on the medal table. So I have my eyes on China and the US.
Dapo, who do you have your eyes on?
I said it before that the top positions will revolve around China, Japan, Russia, even Great GB. The Great Britain will also actually do well at the top there. We have them. They've always been very, very consistent. All these four I just called now, and I'm sure the top positions will continue to revolve around them. In the next, couple of days now, things will change. We may actually see China sitting comfortably on top without the closest, any form of closest, challenge. But I'm sure Japan will not allow them. The United States also, they are on ground there. They are on ground, but with the power of the number of athletes they have on ground there in Tokyo. So it is within these four, and they will continue to do well until the final day.
That will continue to do well onto the final day. Hopefully, we should get Nigeria being on the medal table at the end of the wrestling event, because that is the event I know I'm hopeful that we can actually
Hope and pray.
get to the medal. But for athletics, it will be very, very difficult. But final thoughts, guys, on Nigeria's participation tomorrow: athletics, rowing, basketball. What should we all expect? Jonathan, I start from you.
Say, let's just hope and pray.
Let's just hope and pray. Alpha.
Well, we'll hope, we'll still pray, but we expect the athletes to, go out there on the court, on the tracks to get the job done.
Get the job done for you.
Well, let them just dig deep and go whatever they can.
Vivian.
I really hope and pray that they do their very best and not allow all these chaos to affect their performance tomorrow.
Dapo.
Yeah, the athletes, they should brace up and do their best there, not minding the psychological, issue that has happened. They know what they want. They know what the country expects from them. Let them just go there and do us proud.
Go there and do us proud. That is actually no coming for that. But at this point in time, we want to actually thanks our sponsor, talking about Cast Print. They are the best for me. They are the best digital printing that you can actually have in the country at this point in time. I'll go straight to their website, www.castprint.com.ng, for more. Also, talking about NDLEA. Yes, they are the one supporting us. Talking about the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency that really want supporting us. And also not forgetting the NASA also that have been supporting the 2020 Tokyo in 120 minutes right here on the leadership. At this point, I want to thank my colleague, in-house guest. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks
Alpha, Jonathan,
Always a pleasure.
thanks for coming on the show. Vivian, all the way from Sheffield, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, Dapo from Lagos, thank you for coming on the show today.
My pleasure.
At this point, we want to call it a day. It has been, interesting talking sport in 2 hours. We return same time tomorrow. Hopefully, we should be celebrating. Alpha didn't actually say that today, but hopefully, I'm the one saying that. So we should be celebrating the victory of the Tigers tomorrow. I will come your way tomorrow. Stay blessed. Bye bye for now. I am Olawale, and I'm saying bye bye for now. God bless.